Most of you are probably already aware of this issue either via my Facebook page, Temptalia.com. Lots of beauty bloggers have been posting about this issue with urban decay, but I feel since my channel is so strongly associated with cruelty-free makeup and vegan makeup and things like that, I had to make a video about this topic and express my opinion on things. I'm gonna have to go back and make annotations on all my old videos using urban decay. Basically, I will not be using any of their products anymore. I will not be supporting them anymore. Now, I wanted to wait a day to do this video because I was livid. I was so angry when I heard the news. I was pretty much gutted. I've been recommending Urban Decay to my subscribers since I started my channel, basically, because they were Leaping Bunny approved, which doesn't seem to mean much these days. Not insulting Leaping Bunny. It's really the company's fault. It's like they're trying to get around things and they're trying to lie and hide things, and it's really hard to know who to trust. I do research. I understand it's really devastating and hard to do. It's hard work. And it's hard disappointing people too. It's hard for me to say, oh, I found out this information. You guys can't use this item anymore. Like, that sucks for me. I hate doing that. And I hated having to make this video about Urban Decay because they were like one of those brands most people could find. You could find them in Sephora, Ulta, things like that. They were around. They had a vegan list, which, again, wasn't completely accurate. If you remember, there was a debacle back a couple years ago. They were selling, I'll pull it out. They were selling the vegan palette. Now, this is something I had an issue with. I only bought this palette off eBay because it didn't have the eyeshadow primer in it. It only had the eyeshadows, and I wasn't giving my money to Urban Decay for this item. So that's why I own it. But the original came with a primer potion inside of it. And it was on their vegan list for a long time. It had the famous Marley Paw. And anyways, they said that they thought it was vegan, but their manufacturer changed their ingredient without telling them or letting them know, which to me throws up a red flag. Like, if you're allowing someone to make huge decisions like that for your company, like as far as to what ingredients go in your products, and you have no idea what's in them and you're saying it's a vegan item, I have problems with that. Like, I think it's really crappy when people go back on being cruelty-free. They're like, well, it's just too hard. I don't care anymore. It's like, I would rather not wear makeup if it came to that. If it honestly came to that where I couldn't wear makeup, couldn't buy my cosmetics and toiletries in the store anymore, I would just keep making my own. I would make my own items. I'd make my own shampoo. I'd make my own soap. I would figure it out just because I don't want to support that stuff. And I just don't, I know some people aren't that committed and they don't maybe see it that way, but I can't support brands that test on animals. I just can't do it. And I know I've had some people say, like Elf, Wet n Wild, those are made in China. From my understanding, this is how I understand it. And if I'm wrong, let me know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not able to go to these countries and know exactly what's going on. But from what I understand, unless the product is being marketed to be sold in China, the items being made in China do not have to be tested on animals. It's just items that are marketed to be sold there. So Elf and Wet n Wild are not sold in China to my knowledge. They are sold in the US and other countries outside of China. So they're exported. They're not being sold in China. So that makes any sense. That's my understanding, is that their factories don't have to meet the requirements of selling in China if they're exporting to another country, because those items aren't being sold there, if that makes sense. And that's why I still have those companies on my cruelty-free list. But I do urge you, if you really care about these issues, care about human rights, care about animal rights, look into, if you can afford to, purchasing from more ethical brands. I'm not saying you have to purchase from my company. I know some people might see this as a way for me to make money off this. That's not why I started Pumpkin and Poppy. If you know me, I reinvest most of my money back into my company. I'm not rich by any means. I'm doing this really as a creative outlet for me and as a way to make more options for people that are vegans and that don't want to use animal byproducts, because a lot of like cruelty-free brands I notice still use animal ingredients, you know. So that's just something that never sat right with me. If you're going to be a cruelty-free brand, you should really try to use vegan items when you can, and really there is no reason why not to. There's really wonderful, amazing vegan options out there now. There's even vegan replacements for beeswax out there now. It's called jojoba wax esters, and I get mine from DIY Cosmetics, and it's a replacement for beeswax. It's amazing. It's a plant-based replacement for beeswax. There's no need to use that. Other thing people will say is that, well, all ingredients have one point in time been tested on animals, so nothing is cruelty-free. Okay, I get that, but that's the same thing as saying we should go back to being cavemen, essentially. We should go back to eating meat because that's what our ancestors did or something. Like, we have the options not to do it now. We have the information. Why do we have to keep testing on them? That's my issue. Like, all of this crap has already been done. Why keep doing it for cosmetics? I mean, it's ridiculous. I know I'm a broken record and I've said this a million times, but it doesn't make sense to me. If there's an ingredient that is not safe and it has to be tested on animals to be used on humans, I don't want to use that ingredient, to be honest. That's how I feel. Like, I would find a way around it. I wouldn't make that item. I wouldn't use that color. People don't want animal testing to come between them and their mascara or their favorite eyeliner or blah blah blah. I tell you what, I am a cosmetic formulator. We're all working with the same ingredients. It's all makeup, people. Pick companies that are using those ingredients the way that they should be. Companies that aren't testing them on animals. Companies that are finding innovative ways to make vegan products. Like, try to find those companies. And, you know, Grace and I are trying to find other companies too. Like, I'm going to be trying out items from, I want to try more from Gabrielle Cosmetics, Suzu Luxe, because I know some people want higher end items or they want items that are pressed. And so I'm going to be trying to try out more of those products and review those for you guys, so you have more options. I'm trying out a liquid liner from them to replace my Urban Decay. I know it won't be budge proof, smudge proof, but it's probably going to be better for my skin. So I just want to get those issues out of the way. I know some people have brought that up, especially like on Temptalia.com on her blog post about the Urban Decay testing issue. So I wanted to get that out of the way first because it's been bugging me for a while. If I find out differently, of course I'm not going to lie to you guys. I will take down companies that manufacture in China. I'm trying not to support them as much anymore anyway. I'm trying to find more made in the USA brands. But to be realistic, most items are manufactured in China. Ingredients, what have you. Like, a lot of things are made in China. That's just the sad fact of how things are right now. The US has, moved so many companies over there or to different countries like Mexico, India. So it's really hard to be completely made in the USA these days, but I do try my best, and I look for companies that try their best to do that as well. So if people see a demand for like made in the USA products, if they see a demand for ethical companies that don't flip-flop back and forth on their morals like every month, like hopefully these companies will get the right idea about things. I mean, I try my best. I'm only one person, but I feel bad. I feel bad having to make videos like this. I feel bad that there aren't better standards for animals in the world in general, and I don't see that changing anytime soon either. I don't want to be cynical, but this world is so animal centric. Like, everybody uses animals for everything, and they seem to think that people that don't want to do that are crazy and are wrong. And it gets very frustrating. I get negative comments every day on my vegan videos, and people telling me I'm an idiot, I don't know what I'm talking about. People telling me that plants are screaming in pain when I eat them. People are just ignorant. As long as there's ignorance out there, there's going to be issues like these issues with Urban Decay. Like, as long as people are just in things for money and not in it to help animals, I honestly don't trust most companies these days. I'll probably leave my list up and just leave things up to you guys as far as your discretion goes. I always ask them those questions. Do you test on animals? Are you owned by a company that tests on animals? Do your manufacturers test their products or ingredients on animals? I always ask those questions. So the people on my list, I have asked those things, and they have told me that they've told me they're compliant. So I probably will leave it up, but just leave it up to your own discretion. And really do try to look into companies. Try to find companies that have stricter animal cruelty laws. Like, I know the US seems pretty horrible, but we're actually doing more for animals than a lot of countries, which is really sad to hear. But China is definitely, I'm not bashing China, but they're not known for animal rights. They're just not. So it's just very sad to me. And the same thing with vegan makeup brushes and things like that. They're usually all manufactured in the same company, so it's hard to know if something is from a 100% vegan company. And that's why I always say, like, you can't really know, like, if they're like owned by a company that makes animal hair brushes. Like, I feel like the only way we're going to stop making animal hair brushes happen is just to purchase the tack-on, to purchase the vegan options, and stop purchasing animal hair altogether. If it's not profitable for these companies, they're not going to make it anymore. So if we just keep pushing that and showing them there's a demand for vegan brushes, they're going to reduce the amount of animal hair brushes they make. And that's just a fact. And it's probably cheaper for them to manufacture them, I would imagine. So I know that sounds awful, that money is all that matters to them, but apparently it is. Even Urban Decay, who we thought was in it for animals, they're just in it for money too. So let's make it not profitable for them to make this decision. Let's boycott their products. Let's tell them we're very unhappy. Let's not backtrack and go back to using their products in a couple months. Let's show them we cannot put up with being lied to. I'm going to link like their statement. I'm going to link Temptalia.com had a Q&A with them. I'm going to link all that stuff, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They contradict themselves constantly in their statement, in the question and answer with Temptalia. The main thing that irritated me the most is that they just straight up lied. Apparently, the Chinese branch that has been setting up over there for a while, apparently, they've already launched the line in China on June 5th, according to Temptalia's blog. I saw someone post that comment. They already launched on the 5th, and they released their statement, like a couple days ago. So they said that this is something they are going to be doing, but they've already been doing it. So ridiculous. I know, like, they straight up lie. They think we're stupid, and I'm tired of companies thinking that. I don't know about you, but I don't want to buy from companies that think that we're stupid. Like, I don't want to give my hard-earned money to a company that talks down to me and thinks that I'm not going to get it, that I'm not going to understand what they're saying, or read between the lines. So I don't know. And this whole stuff about them implementing change in China, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to do that by giving in to them. You're not going to do that by saying, well, this is okay, but you need to change in the future. The only way things are going to change is if companies refuse to sell their products over there until the law changes. Like, I know that may be a long time coming, and I know it may never happen, but if we keep giving in to them, it definitely will never happen, because they'll know, well, they need our money, so we'll just do what we want to do. That's how that works. That's how the economy works. It's all about money, and it sucks. And I hate it, but that's reality, and that's the way things are. So let's take our money away from Urban Decay. Let's take our money away from these companies that suck. Just find some smaller brands that you trust. And if you don't want to go indie, there are like brands like Gabrielle, Zuzu Lux. I think Grace mentioned Imani. I think they have some vegan items. Dr. Hauschka, I think that's how you say it. I don't know if he has a lot of vegan items, but I know he has a cruelty-free brand with focus on skincare. Christopher Drummond Beauty, he has a lot of vegan items, and he's a smaller company, but still reputable. I mean, there's lots of smaller brands like that I feel the beauty community ignores in favor of, like, MAC and Urban Decay and all these really bright, flashy brands. And it's just like, I don't really care anymore, you know? Like, I'm gonna do what I can on my part. Like, a big reason I made Pumpkin Poppy Cosmetics is because I was sick of dealing with these freaking companies. I want to know what's in my makeup. I want to know why it's being used. I want to be able to control and know I'm not putting any animal crap in my makeup. I want to know that it's not tested on animals. basically, I feel like the only way I can do that for myself anyway is to make it myself. So I trust myself, and I know I'm gonna make stuff that's vegan because I'm a vegan. So I don't know. I'm just sick of it. I'm just tired. I don't know about you guys. I just don't want to give my money to these crappy brands anymore. They don't care about us. They don't care at all. Customer service. People keep contacting me and asking me, well, have you heard from this company? Have you heard more about this? Have you heard about that? If I haven't posted it, I haven't heard back from them. Like, Wet n Wild, for example. I emailed them a long time ago. They sent me a vegan list, which I'm seriously considering taking down, because on the list was mascaras. They said all of their mascaras were vegan, or at least some of them were. I went to the store, looked through the ingredients, as I always do before I purchase anything. I was going to purchase a mascara, and it said beeswax on it. It's also known as Sarah Alba. If you ever are looking through ingredients and they try to hide it, it's Sarah Alba if you're looking for it. Yeah, it was in there, and if an ingredient is synthetic, they have to legally say if it's synthetic. Like, if you look on Elf's website, they use synthetic beeswax and they list it as such. So I took that off my vegan list, and I'm just seriously considering just taking it down altogether. I really just encourage everybody to read through ingredients on their own for each product, because who knows if they reformulate or change things without telling us anymore. I just don't feel comfortable having like vegan lists in general unless I really trust the brand. So probably going to be doing an overhaul of my website when I get time. I'm very busy right now, but I hope to do that soon. I don't know, I'm just tired of putting up with crap, and I don't know. If there's any doubt in my mind, the company is like super large and hasn't responded to emails, and I don't know. I'm probably just not going to bother with it anymore, personally, for me. So, and if one more person asks me if Revlon is cruelty-free, I'm going to scream. Like, look on their website. Can you find their cruelty-free statement? If you can, link it to me, send it to me. I have not been able to find it. When I was doing research a while back, you know, I found all those statements on how they went cruelty-free in like 1990 and stuff, and I hadn't seen anything on their website. Like, I don't understand. If you're cruelty-free, you should be flaunting it. You should make that like a very open statement about your company. And I did email them about third-party testing. Never heard back. I emailed them like 4 or 5 times too, guys. I did not give up after one time. Never heard back from them once. So they don't care. Everything I'm wearing today, besides my concealer, foundation, and mascara, is from my own company. And honestly, I like my products better than things that I've used in the drugstore, things I've gotten from high-end. Just because I know what's in them, and I know it's better for my skin. I don't break out nearly as much as I used to with that crap, so I don't feel bad. I honestly don't really care about supporting them anymore. It's not a huge loss to me. It's just disappointing. I feel like I can't trust, you know, anything these days, and I know a lot of you feel the same way, and it's very frustrating. I just wanted to let you know I'm in the same boat. I understand, and it's very hard to be cruelty-free. It's extremely, extremely frustrating, but just take some of the aggravation out of it, you know, simplify your routine, just find a few things that you love and want to support, and just enjoy life more, you know, find hobbies that you enjoy, and don't buy into all this, like, you have to make it through beautiful crap, because you don't. It's just supposed to be something fun. It's not supposed to hurt another creature. It's not worth it. It never is.